So a lot of people are confused by this question, and I think it's quite hard to interpret. So I'm going to explain how we can pick out key ideas from something we find quite difficult. So the question is, if x to 3 is the same or equals 12 to x, what is the positive value of x? Well, if two things are equal, that means they're the same. But in ratio, we can have the same proportion, just written in a different way. So for example, 4 to 6 is the same as 2 to 3. They both show the same ratio because 4 red beads to 6 orange beads is still in the same ratio as 2 to 3 twice. We have the same amount of beads present, even though they're written in the same way. So we're looking for an identical number here and here, because we've got x here, that means the same number is going to be used twice, but one of these ratios will simplify to make the other one. Now 12 is larger than 3, so I'm imagining, or I'm expecting, that this will simplify down to this. But because we've got x present in both, we're looking for an identical number that will allow this to happen. So if we're going from 12 and we're simplifying down to this value, that must mean that the number we're dividing by is going to be a factor of 12, because we need to get that answer as a whole number. So first I'm going to write down the factors of 12. 1 times 2, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. And they're the factors of 12. Then, if we look at this side, 3 must be able to be multiplied up to make the same number as here. So we're looking for numbers that are in the 3 times table. I'm not going to go any further than 12 because we know that this number must be the same as this number here. So I don't need a multiple of 3 that's bigger than 12. So the number x must be in both this group and this group. So 12 is in both groups, so x might be able to be 12, and we can test this in a second. 3 is in both groups, so we can test that one, and 6 is in both groups, so we can test that one. But notice that 9, you could not divide 12 by 9 to get a whole number. And these factors are not in the other group, so x must be either 12, 6 or 3. So let's try them all. What if x equaled 12? Well, we would have 12 to 12, which would simplify to 1 to 1. If we put 12 here, we would end up with 12 to 3. Now, that would simplify to 4 to 1. Now this ratio, so the first one, doesn't simplify to the same as this one, so I know that those two don't work. So our answer can never be 12. Let's cross it off the list. Now let's try 6. So 12 to 6, because I'm substituting 6 in here as my x, and we would have 6 to 3. 12 to 6 simplifies to 2 to 1, because if 6 is worth 1 block, then 12 is worth 2 of them. And here, if 3 is worth 1 block, then 6 is worth 2 of them. Now notice that I have exactly the same ratio on both sides, so this means that x has to equal 6. Job done.